morning. Welcome to the last edition of the week of Inside Nigeria on Leadership Television. I hope you've had a beautiful week as so far. Today being Friday, the last working day of the week, it is my pleasure to be hosting you on today's edition of the program. And of course, as usual, as you can see on our table, we have the arrays of newspapers to be reviewed today because I'm alone in the studio, so we are not going to be doing much of discussion of the topical issues. That we're just going to review and what papers are saying this morning. My name is Winifred Lewo, and I want you to stay tuned. As usual, the program will start off with Nigeria's most official newspaper, Leadership. Leadership is leading with a story, entirely different story from the others. It says federal government puts states on red alert over impending floods. Federal government puts states on red alert over impending floods. It will likely be worse than 2022. 80% of 774 local government areas of the country to be affected. Stakeholders engaged to mitigate risk. I'll take the leading story once again. Federal government puts states on red alert over impending floods. It will likely be worse than 2022. 80% of 774 local government areas to be affected. Stakeholders engaged to mitigate risk. And there are other leading stories as well on the cover, as you can see, of Leadership Friday, Nigeria's foremost Friday newspaper. British Commission declines comment on Obi's detention by UK immigration. That's a developing story because a few days back we heard that the presidential candidate of Labour Party, Peter Obi, was detained by UK immigration and greed for hours. And at the end of the day, we also saw, like yesterday, a trending comment that the UK government has apologized to Peter Obi. But however, his media aide, the Labour Party Presidential Campaign Council Committee media, Diran Olufade refuted it that up till now they are yet to receive apology from UK government. It's actually a developing story. So let's wait and see how events unfold. And on the Leadership Friday, we have other stories. Ghana becomes first country to approve Oxford malaria vaccine. Ghana becomes first country to approve Oxford malaria vaccine. And sub-leading story on the cover, Adamawa rerun poll, time ticks for Pintiri and Binani. Adamawa rerun poll, time ticks for Pintiri, Binani. Commission probes alleged $10,000 bribe for promotion in police. Commission probes alleged $10,000 bribe for promotion in police. The story is on page 10 of Leadership. APC hosts governorship primaries in Bayelsa, Kogi, Imo today. APC hosts governorship primaries in Bayelsa, Kogi, Imo today. Lagos stops work on collapsed building, 25 workers rescued. Lagos stops work on collapsed building that actually took place at Banana Island 2 days ago in Lagos. Lagos stops work on collapsed building, 25 workers rescued. Thank God there was no casualty. Then we have the one that's trending also. Tinubu Biden make Time Magazine's 100 most influential people list. Tinubu Biden make Time Magazine's 100 most influential people list. Nigerian doctor Ogboina also made the list. And we move over to the page 3. Our stand of Leadership Friday is actually the editorial stance of the paper. End this bloodletting. End this bloodletting is the title or the caption of Leadership Friday's editorial stand today. End this bloodletting. The editorial is talking about the upsurge in banditry and terrorism activities taking place in the country. End this bloodletting. And of course, we move over to the back page of the paper where we have columnists. And this time on Friday is conversation with Azu, who is the editor in chief of the Leadership Media Group. Why Trump's trial doesn't make America special. Why Trump's trial doesn't make America special. That is the title of our editor in chief, as we say the next column today. So, for more on the stories and, of course, on this column as well, just log on to the website www.leadership.ng. That's all from leadership. From leadership, we move over to the next paper on our menu, and that is we have this day newspaper. Incidentally, this day, the Punch, Vanguard, the Nation, they are talking about the same story on politics and the election petition tribunal cases pending. Tinubu Atiku PDP's petitions gross abuse of judicial process. Tinubu Atiku PDP's petitions gross abuse of judicial process, says SVP's candidacy organized affected his party's fortunes. Says SVP's candidacy organized affected his party's fortunes. Dismisses him as a serial loser, recalls his many electoral losses. Atiku's aid on $460,000 for future. You can't outrun your past. And that is the leading story on this day. We are reading these stories from this day newspaper. Let's have this day on our screen. Tinubu Atiku PDP's petitions gross abuse of judicial process, says SVP's candidacy organized affected his party's fortunes. Dismisses him as a serial loser, recalls his many electoral losses. Atiku's aid on $460,000 for future. You can't outrun your past. And of course, ahead of the main story, we have other stories. Let's start with the immediate one on top of it. Ahead of Iran post, IG deploys personnel, logistics in 24 states. Ahead of Iran post, IG deploys personnel, logistics in 24 states. Atiku drums support for Adamawa Governor Fintiri Party. PDP, APC supporters demand credible polls in Adamawa. And above the masthead, we also have another trending story. Tinubu, Biden, Air and Natsui, King Charles make time 100 most influential people 2023. So it's on page 5 of this day. And above the masthead, we have the story on their business. Says with 2.8% growth prediction, World Bank urges Nigeria to ease trade barriers. With 2.8% growth prediction, World Bank urges Nigeria to ease trade barriers. And above that, we have federal government sees exclusive custody of returned Benin artifacts to Oba of Benin. Federal government seeks exclusive custody of returned Benin artifacts to Oba of Benin. This decision ends tussle between monarch and Edo governor. Decision ends tussle between monarch and Edo governor. That's also actually put paid to the lingering tussle or lingering acrimony between the Edo State governor and the Oba of Benin. Of course, as the federal government sees exclusive custody of returned Benin artifacts to Oba of Benin. And of course, this has come to this is the outcome of the, as I mentioned earlier, the lingering tussle between the governor and the Oba of Benin, because of as a result of some of those looted Benin artifacts that are being returned from all over the world. Yes, from this day, for more stories on this day, and of course, inside stories as well, just also log on to www.thisdaylive.com. From this day, we move over to the Punch. The Punch says, before we read the Punch newspaper, I want us to go over to the Nation. The Nation also has similar story to main story to that of this day. Tinubu to tribunal, petitions by Atiku PDP not competent. Tinubu to tribunal, petitions by Atiku PDP not competent. Not joining OP, Kwankwaso invalidates suit. Voters in FCT not superior. Tinubu to tribunal, Petitions by Article PDP not competent. Not joining Obi Kwankwaso invalidate suit. Voters in FCT not superior. That is the leading story on the nation. The nation also has other stories. Time list Tinubu among 100 most influential. Troops now bandit supplier with large ammunition. Naiti government spent 13 trillion naira on petrol subsidy in 6 years. IMF advocates debt rescheduling for developing nations. Nigeria working to meet malaria vaccine deadline. Ghana okays use for children under 3. Eyes all on the nation. For more on the stories inside and outside stories, also log on to their website www.thenationonlineng.net. On the nation, Vanguard has similar story. Let's see what Vanguard is saying. Vanguard says, Paul, I defeated you, Tinubu tells Obi. Paul, I defeated you, Tinubu tells Obi. You have been losing since 1993, he replies. Atiku says call for run-up poll baseless. Paul, I defeated you, Tinubu tells Obi. You have been losing since 1993, he replies. Atiku says call for run-up poll baseless. And on Vanguard newspaper, we have other stories. UK apologizes to Peter Obi for wrongful detention. However, Elpis replies, we are not aware of British government's apology on Heathrow incident. We are not aware of British government's apology on Heathrow as incident. Chibok girls 9 years after authorities unable to protect children. Amnesty International. Chibok girls 9 years after authorities unable to protect children. And of course, this same story that is leading on one other national paper. Girls still not found, still in captivity for 9 years. That is Amnesty International. And about the masthead of Vanguard, we have police promotion bribery scandal. Panel calls for evidence. Vows to deal with culprits. Police promotion bribery scandal. Panel calls for evidence. Vows to deal with culprits. No local refining, no subsidy remover, Nupeng wants. No local refining, no subsidy remover, Nupeng wants. 8 killed as troops intercept cache of terrorist ammunition in Kaduna. Unprofessional misconduct. Unprofessional conduct. Police dismiss 3 officials. Unprofessional conduct. Police dismiss 3 officials. And of course, above the strip, on the strip above these stories, we have dormant accounts. CBN slams 2 million naira fine on airy banks. Dormant account. CBN slams 2 million naira fine on airy banks. We also have one so by the side. $460,000 for feature. You can't rewrite history. Articles 8 tells Tinubu. $460,000 for feature. You can't rewrite history. Articles 8 tells Tinubu. These are more on Vanguard newspaper this Friday. And we have other interesting stories in inside pages as well. So for more on these stories, just log on to their website www.vanguardngr.com. From Vanguard, Punch has stories, leading story on the supplementary polls. Let's have Punch on our screen. Supplementary elections, APC PDP battle for two governor 94 legislative seats. Supplementary polls elections, APC PDP battle for two governor 94 legislative seats. Atiku mobilizes support for PDP candidates. APC backs Binani to upstage victory. Inspector General Police allays fears of voter intimidation, deploys personnel in 2,660 polling units. And we have a large picture of President Muhammadu Buhari as he performs a lesser Hajj in Saudi Arabia. Of course, incidentally, it's that same picture we have in on some other papers. We have it in Leadership Friday donation, blueprint, and even release some. Buhari performs lesser Hajj, Muslims urged to be self-reliant. Above the masthead of the Punch, we have Tinubu don make Time magazine's 100 most influential persons. CBN to mop up dormant account balances on claimed funds. Fuel subsidy oil theft gulp 29 trillion naira, says federal government. Fuel subsidy oil theft gulp 29 trillion naira, says federal government. Obi Kwankwaso shared articles votes, Tinubu tells tribunal. Obi Kwankwaso shared articles votes, tribunal tells Tinubu, tells tribunal. Singer salute, 3 cardinal corps dismissed for wasting bullets. Singer salute, 3 cardinal corps dismissed for wasting bullets. House leadership, reps elect form 283-member alliance. For more on this paper lead, the Punch newspaper, just also log on to the website. There are other also interesting stories in their inside pages. www.punchng.com. That is the website address. From the Punch, we move over to the last paper we have on our menu this Friday, and that is The Guardian. The Guardian is another story, different story. Entirely. Senate presidency, Kalu Akpabio lead as South jostles for Lawan seat. Senate presidency, Kalu Akpabio lead as South jostles for Lawan seat. Senate presidency, Kalu Akpabio lead as South jostles for Lawan seat. CBN takes custody of dormant funds from banks. Accountability concerns trail yearly 63.46 million barrels oil swap deal. Accountability concerns trail yearly 63.46 million barrels oil swap deal. Aviation workers threaten 2 days warning strike over COS welfare. Aviation workers threaten 2 days warning strike over COS welfare. Drama continues as Obi denies British government apology over detention. That is the stories on the Guardian newspaper this Friday, April 14, 2023. Well, viewers, that is all getting on today's your number one breakfast show on television, Inside Nigeria. Don't forget, same time, same station. Next week, Monday, is another day. Here's Winifred Weber wishing you a pleasant, really beautiful weekend tomorrow, starting from today. Don't forget, safety is a collective responsibility. Keep yourself safe. Bye.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.